Okay, looks like we are live. Hello, guys, how are you doing? Welcome to the day 19 of the 77-day video challenge. Today, I thought I'll bring to you a poem, and this is something, or this poem is by someone called Rudyard Kipling. He is a Nobel laureate poet, and he is somebody who a lot of people look up to, especially when it comes to wisdom. So let's go through the poet or rather the poem very quickly. All right, let's see how it goes. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. This first stanza is really about the do's and the don'ts, the ones that define our behavior. What is our natural tendency? When somebody lies about us, we might lie about them. When somebody is giving hatred to us, it's very natural for us to give hatred to them as well. And that's why he said, um, don't give way to hating, because we are capable of everything. As one of the famous quote says, life is not black, life is not white. It is an extension of gray. So it depends on which side will you extend your life. It will become more white or more black. Depends on how you extend it. And that's why if you give way to hatred, that is what it is going to spread. Now the next one it says, and yet don't look too good or talk too wise. This is about the idea of your self identity. Sometimes you try to blend in, as they say. You try to look good because everyone else is looking good, or everyone else seems to have this shiny resume. So you also try to have something similar. But then you are just trying to be someone else. So why blend in where you can stand out from everyone else with your own qualities? Now let's go to the second stanza. Second stanza says, if you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth that you have spoken, twisted by the knaves to make trap for fools, or watch the things that you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. This is my favorite stanza of the entire poem. So let's look at the first two lines. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, what does that mean? To me, it means that when we have some dreams, and if you continue to chase that dream, then you lose sight of your today, of your reality. So while it's good to have those dreams, don't make them your master. If you can think and not make thoughts as your aim, thoughts as your aim, remember, a lot of times it happens to us that you want to do something, but you just keep thinking about it. It happened with me earlier when I wanted to do this session about storytelling, but I just kept thinking about it, that I will do this, I will do that, and I literally felt well. I felt really good when I had all those thoughts, and I thought, wow, this is good. So in a way, thoughts had become my aim, but what does that happen? What's the result of this? Nothing, because thoughts still remain in your head. And remember, words are wind, actions are forever. So, the more massive action you take, the more longer or longevity it has. Now let's look at the next two lines. He's saying that triumph and disasters are imposters. An imposter is somebody who is pretending to be something else or someone else. So, how is triumph and disaster an imposter? That's because the events themselves do not have a meaning. It is the person who puts a meaning on top of that event. Which is why, if you are able to treat triumph and disaster as the same, I think in Bhagavad Gita there is a word for this. Um, what is the word? I forgot. But as soon as I remember, I'm going to mention that. The word is sthita prajna. Sthita prajna is somebody who can remain calm and composed, even if, let's say, he wins the world champion of public speaking, or even if you lose something else, you lose something big, even then you are able to remain calm. That is called as sthita prajna. Then the next two lines are, when people are bending your words, they're bending your words, they're bending your truths. I think the best example I can give about this is Mahatma Gandhi. When Mahatma Gandhi said something, it was in the context of those days, of the problems and the challenges they were facing in that time. So, taking those words out of context and giving it a different meaning and using that to demean this great person is something that we can see even today. The next thing he says is, to watch the things you gave your life to broken, stoop and build them up with worn out tools. That's the idea of never giving up. Let's say you build a company, you put your heart and soul in the company, but in the end, you are removed from that company. Does that sound similar? I'm talking about a very famous guy over here. Put that into the chat box if you remember who I'm talking about. But what did he do? He went out and he built a new company that's even more successful than the first company. So that's why he said, stoop and build them up with worn out tools. You build it again. If you can do it once, you can do it again. Okay, the next stanza. If you can make one heap of all of your winnings and risk it on one turn of a pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. This can be a speech in itself. This is so deep. If he says, um, make a heap of all of your winnings, and you can risk it on a pitch and toss. That means you are not so attached to everything that you have won, everything that you have built. So this reminds me of the story of a king called as Harish Chandra. Now, there's a famous story about Harish Chandra, or rather the entire Raghuvanshi, or the Raghu Parivar, you can say. And that story about that entire family is that the kingdom had a rule. Every 4 years, every fourth year, the king will give away all of his earnings, will go into the jungle, live there for some time, come back, and then win all of these things again. This is to ensure that whoever is sitting on the throne is capable and has built this entire empire by himself. Okay, now the next one is, lose and start at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. This is big. This is big, because you would see people are whining all around you about small little things that they have lost, that they could not do, or someone else did something to you. You did not win something, they were not fair. All these things you will keep hearing over and over again. And that's why this poem is teaching us, you hold on, you don't utter a single word about your loss. You just go back to your inner self and tell yourself, hold on, I still got this in me. I can build this all over again. If you can force your heart and renew and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and hold on when there is nothing in you except the will. The strongest will is the one that can surpass and survive the greatest of the battles and the challenges that can come your way. Okay, now we go into the last stanza, and it says, if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings and never lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you will be a man, my son. I want to read this again. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings and not lose the common touch, isn't this something that we keep seeing all around us? That when somebody is talking to the crowds, they lose their minds. They can start to do anything, they talk anything, and then sometimes our tongues lie heavy on our shoulders. Or walk with kings and not lose the common touch. Again, something that happens very common. When somebody gets really successful, now they are walking with the kings. This is a big metaphor of success. Sometimes when people are very successful, they lose that common touch. Don't do that. That's what Rudyard Kipling is teaching us here. Neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, and if all men count with you but none too much, this is making you invincible. If nobody can hurt you, and this is not the physical hurt that they are talking, it's the hurt over here. Sometimes maybe if you see your enemy, or we don't really have enemies, we may have competitions, you have competitors. So if you see your competitor having a lot of success, you might think, I need to do something quickly. So in that case, they're hurting you over here. Your friends, this happens more common, where you don't care about the people that you don't know, but when somebody who is close to you, they say something, oh my god, how did she say that about me? That hurts you so much. And I have seen this happen a lot. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of a distance run, what does that mean? The unforgiving minute with 60 seconds. He says, you fill the 1 minute with 60 seconds worth of a distance run. That means how much of running can you do in 1 minute? Again, it's a very literal term, but there's a deep metaphor over here. The metaphor is about thinking deeper. When you have an entire 22 kilometers of a marathon to run, or that's a half a marathon to run, in that case, you can't think in 22 kilometers. You have to think the next 100 meters, okay, the next 100 meters, okay, the next 1 kilometer. So you're thinking short, but you're going farther. Yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you will be a man, my son. So Rudyard Kipling is defining the ideal person. I would not say a man or a woman, but an ideal person. How should they behave? This is a poem that talks about ideal people. And I believe that this is a really powerful poem. If somebody is feeling low, read this poem to them. If you want to feel empowered, you are getting to do something big in your life, read this poem and then go do it. There are many people on YouTube with much better voices than mine who have read this poem, and you would be amazed to listen to that. So do that. I would say in all the days of the episodes I have done, this is the one where I'm smiling the most because I just can't stop grinning looking at these words. They are so deep. All right. So this was the poem of, and it's called as If by Rudyard Kipling. Oh, hi Sonal. Thanks for joining. Hello, Shamini. Thank you so much for joining. Today I'm using the Facebook's page on the web browser. So the UI is really different. So I don't really get to see who all have joined. I can see the comments though. So thank you so much, guys, for joining in. What did you think about this poem? Did you like it? If you did, read it to your child. I challenge you. Read it to your child and try to explain the meaning to them. Because when you try to explain something to a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, or even a 10-year-old, you will understand it better. So I hope you liked this 19th day of the 77-day video challenge. I'm going to see you on the 20th day soon. I'm so happy that I'm getting into the 20s now, and coming out of the teens of my videos. So I'll see you soon. You take care and bye bye.